Okay, so if we're thinking about drawing out for a second, what are we doing? Well, we're lengthening the material, and because we're lengthening it, we're making it thinner. So the simplest way of drawing out is hitting like that. So that is hitting with the face of your hammer on the face of the anvil. And again, as I said, this is the simplest, not very aggressive. It takes the heat away from your bar the most because you have so much surface area contact. So what can we do to make it more efficient? Well, we can reduce our surface area contact by going over to the horn. And so obviously that's going to reduce our contact a bit. But there's an even more efficient way, and that is to use the edge of your anvil here. And so I'm sure some of you may have seen people do this before. It's a very aggressive yet clean way of forging, and I'm going to do a little bit of explaining on it and tell you why it can do all of those things. Okay, so let's get into the demonstration. Okay, so to start off with, let's get right into this. I'm going to want to talk about the angle that we're going to hold this piece. So, if you were doing, it's pretty self-explanatory, if you're doing a short taper, you obviously want to hold a little bit more of an angle. If you're doing a long taper like you're forging a drift, then you want to hold that angle. And so that's very flat. And the reason is because if you have too high of an angle, you're going to get uneven structure, uneven forging, and you're going to end up creating a lot of lumps in your material, which is what you don't want to do. You want to have a very clean forging. So to start off, if you have a rounding hammer, you want to be using the round die because it further isolates your surface area contact. I don't know if that's the right terminology, but you get less surface area contact than if you use your flat die. But more importantly, you can have a tendency to hit too far on or off your material. So we want to start with our material over the edge of the anvil, and we want our hammer to be hitting so that if we were to take our material away, it would be half on, half off the anvil, and that's what we call this type of hammer blow. So we're going to take a bit of material, if you're making tongs, measure out how much you need, and we're going to hit once. Okay, so what did we do? We created a shoulder and a lump on the bottom side, so you can see that. So now we're going to turn 90 degrees, move up slightly, and we're going to hit again. Hit a little bit off on that one. Kind of pushed it over there, but that's okay. So now we have two lumps. We have a lump there and a lump there. And there's our shoulder. So now we went there, and now we're going to turn one more time. And the lump that we made on the bottom with the first hit is now on the top. Again, we've moved up slightly. I'm going to hit again. Okay, so what did we do? We created a lump on the bottom, and we took the one off that was on the top. Let's turn it again. Hit again. Hit again. Moving up every time. So what you see, what we've got here now is a clean start to our taper. There we go. So, why is it so clean? Well, when you're using such a small point of contact, is because since you're turning it every time in the same direction, 90 degrees, you're going to take the mark, the lump, the shoulder, whatever you want to call it, off on the top side when it comes up to the top. So as you can see, this is a very aggressive way of forging. I'll go through that one more time. Hitting half on, half off. You're using your flat. You want to make sure it's at the same angle. turning. This is clay, so it's a bit sticky. That's okay. Okay, so you can see again, very clean. The reason it's so aggressive is because the only point of surface area contact that you're getting that's moving the material is the edge of your anvil, which is usually has only about, I don't know, a 3/8 radius on it or something. So there you go. There's a good way of drawing out material. But there's one other technique that I'm going to show you that also uses the edge of your anvil. And so let's go to that. The thing I was going to talk about is using the near edge. Now, this is still drawing it out, still technically drawing out, so that's why I'm showing it. But it's using the edge of the anvil, the near edge this time, to create a bar out of a taper. So you can use the near edge to create a reverse taper. Obviously, this what we just done is a forwards taper. That's going away from us on the far edge. You could create a reverse taper on the near edge. That's not what we want to do. We want to create an even cross section instead of a taper. And so we're going to use the near edge. So how we can do that is by hitting again half on half off, having our material level. And so this is useful for like tong range or something. If you forge the taper, you want to now bar it up to have your tong range be a bar. So a bar is an even cross section, if you didn't know. Okay, so now you can see I'm turning 90 degrees, and it's exactly the same concept as before. You're creating a lump on the bottom, you're taking it off on the top side. And so now you can see now you have a nice clean bar this way. Okay, so why did that happen? Well, I'm going to exaggerate this a little bit. So we're going to hit half on half off just like we were doing. Hit again, hit again. So how are we reducing that into a bar? Why is it not going into a taper? So what's happening is you can see now we have two different levels here. We have the bigger and we have the smaller that we just did. So when we hit, when it takes that lump off, it only goes down to the level of the bottom side. So now this whole plane should be level. So I hope this makes a little bit of sense. What I'm trying to explain here. How to make a bar. It's still drawing out. You're just using the edge. If it gets too big on the anvil, like it is right there, you'd have to go back and draw that out a little bit more. But anyways, so there's the other, using the near edge of the anvil to create a bar and draw out your material. You can also use this to forge diagonals on a piece. You're still using the edge of the anvil and half on, half off hammer blows. You can do a rough round. All the same concept. I'm just hitting, moving the bar as I go. So anyways, I hope that this video has shed some light on the using edge of your anvil to draw out material. This technique is very aggressive because you only have a small point of surface area contact. It's also a very clean way of forging compared to like hitting it with a crossbeam hammer, trying to get less surface contact, or maybe using the horn or something. And so yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. And if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more content similar to it, please let me know that by if you have a question, leave it in the comment section. And if you like this video, like it. So that's it for me, and I will see you on the next video.